Welcome back. The Lafayette Leopards with win number 1 as they will go to 1-4. And they will have themselves a much needed 1 week of rest before they take on Georgetown on the 13th of October. That is a 3:30 start. It's Georgetown, Bucknell, Fordham, Holy Cross. Those are the next 4, all Patriot League games. And then it's Army, and then of course the 154th edition of Lafayette Lehigh. But a much needed victory by Lafayette, and John Garrett's football team certainly unhappy coming out of the Colgate game. They were beaten 45-0 in that one. But today they turn it all around, and like they got themselves behind in this ball game, and they were able to fight back and get the lead.
Yeah, and that's such a good point, Gary, because you've really try to find the true character of your team by how they respond. They could have folded the tent and said, listen, we're 0-4, we're struggling, but you can see what winning does for kids. And this is a young ball club, and everybody's been all over, when are we going to win? When are we going to run? When are we going to score touchdowns? Well, they're hanging in there making plays, and they certainly made plays here in the second half. 17 second half points, a turnover to end the ball game, and really happy for a coaching staff that they take everything home with them every night. They have worked so hard. Luke Thompson, McFadden, great job by Coach Garrett and his terrific staff.
This is the post-game show presented by the Maroon Club. Our player of the game presented by Coca-Cola. Here's John.
Thank you, Gary. A little busy down here, as you can tell. CJ's here first, so we'll do CJ. Coach, is that all right? He got here first. Oh, it sure feels good. CJ, kind of a bookend game for you. You got it off to a great start with the punt return. And then, of course, the clinching touchdown, and also some big plays in between. What does it feel like?
Oh, man, it feels amazing. We needed it. It was well-deserved, man. It's working week in and week out. it was just the time we had to get one. We had to.
You get the bye next week. This is probably a question for Coach. You get the bye. I'm sure you guys you'd rather play tomorrow.
Oh, absolutely. But, the bye week's huge, coming off of a victory like that, having a week to prepare for Georgetown, more league play. So, it couldn't have came at a better time.
CJ, great performance tonight. Congratulations. Enjoy the week off. Go get him next 2 weeks. Great. We've got Chris
Granjean.
Chris Granjean. Chris, I have to, you come out of nowhere. You don't remember these guys. I'm a longtime NFL guy, okay? I'm going to talk to your coach about this. You ask him who Walter Flea Roberts was, and ask him who Gerald Ice Cube McNeil was, okay? Do that for me. What did it feel like to have the kind of game you did tonight, and what did you see that got you going?
Oh, it felt great. The whole team played well. I started getting the groove a little bit, and just kept feeding me the ball, but it was a great team win. Everybody did their job, and we just executed.
I want to get over to Coach in a minute, but I got to ask you about one play over the middle, that slant, given your size. Hung in there. Did you know the hit was coming? How did you hold on to that football?
I just held on. I got to make the play, like Coach Kowitz says. Make the play, whatever you got. And I held on to that ball.
That's terrific. Congratulations, Chris, on a terrific game. Enjoy the week off. Go back to work. Good luck against Georgetown.
Thank you.
Let's get Coach John Garrett over here. All right, Coach, you know what I just told Chris over there? I asked him 2 names, and you're going to know these guys. Walter the Flea Roberts and Gerald Ice Cube McNeil.
Oh, my God.
That's all I could think about when I saw that kid playing.
Yeah, I'm so proud of him. Boy, he has just kept working and working and working and working, and he earned this opportunity, and he came through. And that's what life's all about. You get an opportunity like that, and he focused and concentrated and made some big plays for us. I'm really happy for him, very proud of him.
Well, it's also about overcoming controversy. I'll get to that in a minute, but before I do that, you say over and over again, hard to beat. You talk about limiting penalties, don't turn it over, and be explosive. How close to the recipe did you come tonight?
Well, pretty close. We generated some explosive plays both in the run game and the pass game, and then obviously on special teams that really impacted the game. And we really were efficient on offense, and we made some really big third down conversions, and that extends drives. It keeps them off the field, and they're a good team. They're an explosive team. They're a playoff team from last year, but our guys battled, and they came up big, and they really had great concentration and urgency, and were really intent on some really key parts of the game, and so proud of our guys with a great effort.
That also goes back a lot of what you say, Coach, to the quarterback play. I thought Sean O'Malley was steady tonight. He had a couple bumps in the road. He bounced back. He stayed with it. And was protected so well.
Well, the offensive line is really protected well all year. And Sean has just continually gets better and better, and he really made some big plays, but he also managed situations very well and took care of the ball. But credit goes everywhere. Defense impacted the game by stopping them. Special teams, obviously, with great coverage in the return, and then offense with some long drives and some big plays. So great team effort.
I don't want to wax too poetic here. I'm going to let you get back in the locker room. It's family weekend. I know you're trying to build your own extended family here. Apropos, a great win on a great weekend for Lafayette.
Well, it is a great win, and heck of an occasion on family weekend. So go Leopards.
You got it, John. Good luck in 2 weeks against Georgetown. We'll see you soon.
Thank you very much.
You got it. Michael, Gary, as you can tell, a lot of excitement down here. It's one happy group of Leopards. Back to you guys.
All right, John, we'll be coming down to you and Phil shortly. But first of all, we've got our highlights from today's ball game, and it's nice that most of the highlights will be Lafayette Leopard highlights. Here's
They're
Mike.
on the Leopard side tonight. I tell you what, the second half, 17 points, and like we talked about, Sean O'Malley tonight ended up 30 for 41, over 300 yards. We talked to Chris Granjean. You know, Chris is a great player. In practice, he finally got his opportunity. Lafayette has explosive players, and look at this play right here. Another freshman, back of the end zone. That's the execution that John Garrett's looking for. Everybody doing their job, including the belly fake that time, and the really nice look over the middle and the separation by the freshman tight end. Big guy in the back of the end zone. Lafayette went up from there. And then again, good pickup inside, and they try to go up over the top. Watch him drop a dime again to Chris Granjean. Every time we stopped, they tried to stop us, we saw Granjean make a play. Cordenbrock came in. He ended up coming in and contributing for a struggling Jacob Bissell. We'll see Bissell back. But again, right here, again, Lafayette just trying to get the ball loose there, trying to stop a very high potent, as John mentioned, Central Connecticut offense here. And Jake Delgado did it tonight, not just with his arm, but with his legs. But Lafayette stopped him enough times, and then they had enough time on the clock. And remember this was a long kickoff return. Lafayette needed that at the 24-24 game. 2:23 left in the game, and they get it from Younger, and then they get a great move here. Great offensive call. You know, we talked about so many players that could be the player of the game tonight. Everybody played well. That offensive line, and give credit to Kevin Zadoveski, came back after the injury, stabilized that offensive line, and there's a happy bunch of Leopards on a really wonderful weekend here on the Hill.
Mike and I will see you in a couple of weeks at 3:30 when Lafayette takes on Georgetown. Right now, we'll send it back to John Leone and Filling.
Thank you, Gary, and thank you, Michael, on a great call. Always sounds a little better when the Leopards come out on top. And Filling, you know, you and I have spent the evening on the sideline. It was a lot of fun, and I think our biggest challenge tonight, CJ kind of sealed it at the end, but our biggest challenge was trying to figure out who would be the player of the game, because so many contributions from so many people.
Yes, that's true. And you know, I think, you know, the much maligned offensive line, you could put a vote in for them because they actually had a great game. You know, they protected Sean very well. Sean had a great game. You got guys like Quinn Revere, had, I think, 10 catches. Chris Granjean came in. You know, he put in
new
the
favorite player. Man. I love that guy.
great name, right?
Well, because I can post him up if we ever played one-on-one. He's a guy I could take inside. It was a terrific night, a great crowd. I mentioned to John Garrett that it is family weekend, and you know, John has always talked about creating a certain kind of culture here. I remember early on he's saying he wanted Renaissance men. That meant guys that weren't just singularly focused. They did a lot of things. They were well-rounded. They were self-aware. I think some of these kids, nothing grows in the darkness, as I like to say, and I think some of these kids, when they experience some success, I really believe that's going to be the step they need.
And I think this is the team, and this is the type of game that we expected after the Monmouth game. You know, kind of an aberration, hopefully, you know, last week. You know, they definitely, you know, again, we talked about it, that Monmouth game, they took 2 steps forward, maybe 1 step back, but this was definitely, you know, 2 steps forward and none back.
Well, you talked about it at the Open. You know, it was our first key. It kind of rinsed the Colgate taste out of your mouth. And, you know, you never know how a team is going to react. And not only did they react to the adversity of last week up in Hamilton, New York, they had some serious adversity. Remember the personal foul call?
Oh, sure.
Then they had to that took them out. They had to punt the ball away, and Central Connecticut ties the game.
Well, they really came back. You know, I had questions about the second half. We've had troubles, obviously, with the second half this year, and the defense came out, answered the call, stopped them. We got the ball back, and we went down and scored. offense answered the call as well. So that was great to see.
You were explaining to me the call on the personal foul, that there's a nuance to it, and only someone who's played the game and coached the game before might recognize it. Take me through that call, because John Garrett was really hot.
Oh, on the one with on CJ.
Yes.
Okay. Well, there's a certain area within that backfield where you can cut, and that was what John was so angry about. He felt that CJ was within that box, was able to go down below the waist, but he couldn't get anyone to listen to him.
I love the way the team responded to that. Obviously, at that point in time in the game, a lesser team might have had that feeling of here we go again, woe is us, and folded it up. But that's what I mean about fighting adversity and coming out on top in the end.
And that's what you like to see, development. We're moving forward. Obviously didn't see anything like this last week. Saw, obviously, like we said, signs of it in the Monmouth game, but this is, a great game to build on and move forward.
Last question for the night. Good time for the bye. How would you feel?
Yes and no. Again, a little bit depends on, our health. I always like, having that momentum and moving on to the next game.
Well, it's going to be tough to shake the momentum of this great night. Again, family weekend, a great weekend all around for the Lafayette Leopards, for the people on campus, and our thanks to all of you for joining us. My thanks to Gary and to Mike Joseph, obviously to Phil Ling, to the RCN team who's so supportive of us on the sideline. We won't see you next week, but in 2 weeks we'll be right back here at Fisher Stadium when Lafayette continues its Patriot League schedule against Georgetown.